Hello folks, I'm shintigercurl, that dude in the straw hat, and welcome to yet another wrestling review. I'm of course joined by my faithful cohort and roommate Joe. Say hi, Joe. As you can clearly see, Joe is excited. Why, you ask? And why am I wearing such a big smile on my face? Because it's Monday night, time for Raw. Now, going into Raw, I needed to wash the taste of the apocalypse of suck that was last night's TNA Against All Odds pay-per-view. It was like eating shit, and not the good kind of shit that other people eat. This was the bad shit. So I was in a particularly bad mood, but I was hoping this Raw, leading up into the Elimination Chamber, would wash the taste out of my mouth. And it did. I'm in a very good mood. But let's get into the review. The show starts off. Before I start, I'd like to send my condolences to Jerry the King Lawler. If you haven't heard, his mother passed away this weekend at the age of 90, I believe, from cancer. I don't know, but my condolences out to him. And because of this reason, he wasn't on tonight's show. So, in taking his place will be SmackDown's own color commentator, Josh Matthews. Now, I like Josh Matthews. He's cool. He's growing on me. And plus he can call Michael Cole out on his shit. Anyway, the first matchup is which starts the show, will be John Cena versus CM Punk. Cena makes a very impassioned promo, talks about Michael Cole's obvious sexuality and hinting at him that him might be the guest host for Raw, who will be revealed tonight. CM Punk comes out and cuts another promo on him. Good promo from Punk, but then again, Punk always cuts good promos. The match itself was very good, very entertaining, very back and forth. Cena showed off a little bit more of his style now that he's feuding with Punk, because, well, Punk is a great wrestler. I was afraid that Punk might get buried because of this. He's feuding with Cena, because anyone who feuds with Cena often looks less than what they already are. But I liked it. I'm enjoying this feud. Let's see. The match itself was good. The end came when when Punk slid out of the ring, reached into someone wearing a Nexus armband, probably Hornswoggle, you never know, hands him a steel chair. He slides it into the ring. The ref goes after it. This was a diversion, and in the same hand gives him a wrench, busts Cena over the head with it. Then Punk slides in the ring because he knows that no mere wrench can stop Super Saiyan Jesus Cena. So he hits him with the go to sleep. 1, 2, 3. Punk wins 3 times in a row. And it was a pretty good win for Punk. Semi-clean, but a lot better than what he's had for the last few weeks. Nice to get a 1, 2, 3 pin. Good momentum for this Sunday. Next up, Alberto Del Rio comes out to remind everyone that it is his destiny to win the World Championship at WrestleMania. Wink. Speaking of the World Champion, the World Heavyweight Champion Edge comes out to the ring, has a little back and forth banter between himself and Del Rio before attacking him. He tries to go for the spear, but Ricardo Rodriguez interferes and he gets a fist in the face. Del Rio ends up getting speared on the outside, and as Edge is celebrating, he hears, "Excuse me!" That's right, Vickie Guerrero. A woman who generates so much heat that she can fry chicken in the air. No, I'm not kidding. I actually fried some chicken while I was watching Raw. It was delicious. You should try it. Vickie Guerrero, he just adds more flavor to it. Anyway, she introduces her boyfriend, the new World Heavyweight Champion, because if you didn't watch SmackDown, Edge used the spear in front of Vickie Guerrero, who was the referee, and said that if he used the spear, he'd be stripped of the title. So technically, he did lose the title. Only, well, you have to watch SmackDown. Anyway, and she says this, "Not only would you be losing your title, Edge, You'll be using your career. Because apparently Vickie has some proof that it was Edge who perpetrated the attack on Teddy Long. What a twist! Gives me a little bit more incentive. I mean, would Edge really do something like that? I don't know. We'll have to see on Friday. Second matchup. Divas title. Natalya taking on the champion Eve. Lumberjill match. That's right. All the divas are surrounding the ring. And why Marlies was wearing heels, I'll never know. Oh well. Actually, this match was pretty good. Eve actually gave Natalya a good run for her money. There was some surprisingly very technical abilities done in this ring. Eve, given a little bit more time and better matches, could become a great women's wrestler. One of the greats, in fact. You never know. But the women out, the lumberjacks outside the ring, really added nothing to the match. Just them being catty towards each other. Usual diva stuff. The end comes when Eve had some kind of pin, or it just looked real sloppy. It's really hard to make out. So Eve retains. It was a good match, but it had a sloppy ending, and that's just bad. Anyway, next up, Hey Kool-Aid, Mark Henry comes out to the ring, but gets attacked by Sheamus. King Lobsterhead tells people that this is what he'll do at the Elimination Chamber, before giving Mark Henry a bro kick. It was alright. Next match, perhaps the match of the night. The United States Champion, a pimp named Daniel Bryan, versus The Miz. Now don't get me wrong, I love the match. Miz and Bryan always have good matches together. They complement each other. They have a good history and they have a good chemistry in the ring. The problem was Alex Riley was on commentating duty. I didn't say this last week because I was in the hospital, but I will say it this week. Alex Riley sucks on commentary. I mean, honestly, when he didn't have anything constructive to say, it was just a back and forth blowjob between him and Michael Cole, and I felt bad for Josh Matthews having to be in the middle of that slobber and the cum. Ugh. And the part I hated the most, whenever they turned the camera gets turned on Alex Riley, he had the most dead, expressionless, lost look on his face, like, am I supposed to say something? Is this the part where I say something? Really? And there was a lot of dead air. Why was there dead air? But the commentating aside, it was an excellent match between Miz and Bryan. Even though they haven't feuded in months, they still show they know each other well enough to pull off a great match. Miz wins with the skull-crushing finale, and this is it was a match of the night, and it was exactly the kind of match that the Miz needed. He needed a lot of momentum going up against the Jerry the King Lawler. And this is enough for him. So, good on him. The Miz actually cuts a small promo saying that he extends his condolences to Jerry for the loss of his mother. But he says that I don't want that to be a factor. I don't want you blaming it and saying that you're not ready for when I would beat your ass. Now listen, this is the perfect way. They mention a real life event without it overshadowing, without it becoming a major storyline in and of itself. See, you don't need to make real life drama into a shitty storyline. Unlike some companies that I won't mention. Sorry, I had some shitty in my throat. Anyway, let's see, what else happened? Sorry, I don't have my notes with me. Next up, we have a tag match. It was supposed to be a one-on-one match between John Morrison and R-Truth, but it got turned into a tag match on account of Nexus's attacks on both Truth and Morrison last week. So it turned into a tag match between R-Truth and Morrison versus David Otunga and and Joe Perfect. Now, with Welsh Tista on outside, or Mason Ryan if you want to call him. I call him Welsh Tista because that's what he is, Welsh Batista. Anyway, the match doesn't pick up until John Morrison gets in the ring. Now, Morrison, as you know, last week got sprayed in the eyes by CM Punk, and his face was all red and swollen, and you could tell Morrison was pissed. During his entrance, he didn't do the slow motion thing. He just came out, and when he got in the ring, he just went to town on Nexus. He beat Michael McGillicuddy like he stole something. Wow. He's no longer the sex for me. He is the sexy beast. He unleashed the beast on him. Sent a clear message to Punk. I'm coming for you, Punk. Okay tag match. Good for Morrison. And I hope to see some awesome shit from him this Sunday. Let's see. I don't have my notes here, so you have to forgive me if I miss anything. Next up, we have a nice little segment with that little girl from the middle. I don't really know her name. She's supposed to be in Triple H's new movie, the Chaperone, or whatever the fuck that shit's called. Anyway, she introduces the Great Khali, and he unveils the Khali Kiss Cam for Valentine's Day. But instead of the Khali Kiss Cam, instead of him kissing people, they'll show it around the arena to people kissing each other. They show some people in the audience kissing. They show Santino and Tamina kissing with the Cobra trying to get in. That was funny. They showed Vickie and Dolph kissing, which was, I don't know what to call that. They showed Zack Ryder and William Regal. Zack's talking and Regal kisses him on the cheek. Billy Regal can do that. Hey, would you rather would you rather be kissing him or have him breaking your fucking arm? They also showed Melise and Ted DeBlandness. Melise goes to kiss him, but she's like, I don't think so. You're a loser, and gives one to Yoshitsu, who just happened to be in the room. You suck, DeBlandness. And then Hornswoggle comes in the ring to give up some candies to the girl who was the host tonight. And he walks away, and she gives him a kiss on the cheek, and he starts grabbing at her. And this is a little creepy for me. Why? Because despite how little he is, Hornswoggle is 25. And the girl that was the host, she was 12. Where's Chris Hansen when you need him? Like, Hornswoggle, why don't you take a seat? 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 You're 25 years old. Do you understand what you're doing? I mean, why are you going after a 12-year-old girl? I have the emails right here. You're going after a 12-year-old girl. You know that. Yeah, you're gonna have to take a seat. Okay, I'm Chris Hansen, and we're on NBC. We're gonna have to, and you just go out that door, and those police will take care of you. Okay. Well, enough of my jokes for now. What else? Trying to remember. I think we move on to the last match, Sheamus versus Randy Orton. It's a typical Randy Orton-Sheamus match, which is pretty good. And Randy, of course, hits the RKO, takes out Sheamus. Then the rest of Nexus hit the ring and start dogpiling on Orton. Then Jomo, Truth, and John Cena come to the ring, and they beat back Nexus, and that's how the wrestling portion of the show ends. And now to the main event. The identity of the guest host for WrestleMania is revealed. Now, before we had a small teaser about who it could be, as a limo pulled up, and a foot popped out, and it was a lady's foot. It was a lady's legs in some high heels, and I was like, "Who's this?" So they reveal. Tony Chimmel says, "Here's the guest host for Raw, for WrestleMania." And then the lights go out. It's electricity in the air. And then you hear those words that we have not heard in 7 years. If you smell what The Rock is cooking. That's right, boys and girls. The host for WrestleMania 27. None other than The Rock. And the whole Anaheim arena blew up. I was jumping up and down. Joe was coming all over the place, but that's normal for him. I mean, what? You do. Anyway, Rock comes out to probably the biggest pop anyone has ever gotten in a long time on Raw. And they just cheer him and chant his name for 10 bloody minutes. It was electric. And Rock begins one of the most epic promos I've ever heard in a long time. And he just basically first he says, as Dwayne, that I didn't do it for money. I didn't do it to promote a movie. I'm coming back because I love this. I love the fans. And so he starts doing his usual rhyme. He talks about The Miz, saying, I'm The Miz and I'm awesome. And he says that The Miz absolutely sucks. Then Michael Cole gets up, prepares to go read the announcements, and then Rock gets in his ass. He tells him in no uncertain terms that if he doesn't go back to his seat, sit down and shut up, that he'll come over there and have people put pictures on his Facebook of him shoving that computer right up his candy ass. And they actually posted his Facebook address on the bottom of the screen. And I'm like, oh my God. And Michael Cole just said, he just took off his glasses, sat down, and for the rest of the segment didn't utter a single word. That's right. After all the months and months and months of Michael Cole talking and bragging and trying to make the show more about himself, he finally gets shut up by the one person capable of shutting him up. And for the rest of the promo, he just sits in his chair looking like this. He was pouting. He was really pouting. So then Rock does the unthinkable as he calls out the face of the company, John Cena. He says, we went from Austin 316 to the legendary If You Smell What the Rock Is Cooking to You Can't See Me. That's how he did. That's the voice he did. You can't see me. What are we playing? Peekaboo? You can't see me. Oh, you can see me. You're not. You can see me. I'm not. And he basically went on to rip John Cena a new one for 5 whole minutes, calling him everything from a bowl of fruity pebbles to the excrement out of Barney the Dinosaur's asshole. They bleeped him a few times, but they knew better not to bleep The Rock because he's the great one. So after about 20 minutes of the probably most epic promo that Raw has ever seen, he says in no uncertain terms, The Rock is back. And could we be seeing Rock, John Cena, WrestleMania? Hey, all I know is I'm watching WrestleMania this year. I wasn't excited about last year. I'm excited about this one. This is shaping up to be a good WrestleMania. And you got The fucking Rock. And that's how Raw ends. With thunderous ovation for The Rock. The People's Champion. The Great One. The most electrifying man in sports entertainment. The Brahma Bull. The Rock. Well, that's Raw. And what do I think? You can't see it, but I'm giving it a thumbs up. This was a good Raw. It was the perfect way. The matches were good. The promos were good. Miz got the win he needed to push into Elimination Chamber. It was a good push for not just WrestleMania, but for the Elimination Chamber coming up this week. And of course, the return of The Rock. So it did its job. It washed the bitter taste of I don't even remember it. I just remember the awesome that I just witnessed not too long ago. So that was Raw. I recommend you watch it, and you will never hear an ovation that loud for anyone in the company currently ever again. At least not for The Rock. And be wary, John Cena. The Rock's coming for you. Be scared. So that was Raw. I enjoyed it. Joe enjoyed it, and I know all of you enjoyed it. So I will see you next time for TNA Impact. Well, I guess you gotta have some shit to go with the good stuff. So, until then, this is shintigercurl, that dude in the straw hat, and Joe, saying see you later and wrestle on.